concept develops. So with this concept, we were trying to minimize the weight, but to maximize readability. You put a lot of different electronic devices on your body. You put that apparel on this guy or girl, and that person starts to move on a treadmill. Then you have the first type of prototypes that we go through. The prototypes always look very, very different from how the product actually looks like when they arrive to the store. So from the first idea to the final product, 2 years. So you can have the backpack like this. This part is of course closed, okay? And you can open the backpack while still not moving your feet. So the previous products I showed you was all from the past. And like I mentioned, those products are essential for the future. What I'm now going to talk about is the future of modules. So the future of modules comes from a lot of different ideas, products and concepts. One of the most award-winning ones and thrilling ones to be part of is something called the Limb Series CT, right? CT stands for two things. So it stands for when the sun is in zenith. So zenith is when the sun is in the middle of the sky, or when you have reached the peak of a mountain to reach the zenith. So we have always been thinking, how can we create the most durable product at the lightest weight for our mountaineering people? We have one ambassador. That ambassador is called Francois Montour. He is a fantastic mountaineer. You can see him here on the image running up a mountain in Chamonix. So we was talking to him, what do you need in one backpack if we were giving you everything? The pants, the mid-layer, the boxers, the balaclava, the jam jacket, the insulation kit, but also the belay. So we were sitting down for a lot of hours, hour after hour, designing different products. And let me show you how it all started. So I can see how the concept develops. So here you have all of the different sketches, you have the purpose of the products, the breakdown, what's the inspirational pieces is, what kind of material we want to work with, the writing the pitch, see how the bra is combined with the base layer, see how the balaclava is integrated directly into the belay jacket, and that you have a packing pouch that is inside on the inner pocket, and then the story just continues. And now we come to the interesting part. So with this concept, we were trying to minimize the weight, but to maximize readability. And how do you maximize readability when you design products? You do that and you go to a lab. You put a lot of different electronic devices on your body. You put that apparel on this guy or girl, and that person starts to move on a treadmill. Faster and faster and faster and faster and faster. And then you track how fast is the sweat and the warm air getting away from your body through the different materials. Then you go into a computer, you do a lot of science work, and then you come up with what kind of material should we use. And then we come up to different solutions with Powertech, with Primaloft, working with Goose Down, working with Gore-Tex, etc., etc. And then it's all about the trims. And then if you come with me again, then you have the first type of prototypes that we go through. The prototypes always look very, very different from how the product actually looks like when they arrive to the store. But we gather the products, the prototypes, just to get an idea. Okay, this is how they look. The previous, that's on paper. Now we have a real product. So we start talking about the product, what kind of material, how is the fit, how is the sound, too loud, okay, get rid of some stuff. Is it soft enough or is it hard enough? So it's a lot of hours invested into this project. And then, So from the first idea to the final product, 2 years. That's how long time it takes. Here you can see some of the products, and then I'm going to show you more later. But the purpose is to have this backpack only. In this backpack, all of these products should fit, right? And on top of that, this is also what you need. You need a helmet, you need a radio, you need the carabines, you need the crampons, you need a rope, you need a water bottle, you need a headlamp. There's so much more you need. But from a product standpoint, from the apparels and what we have produced, everything should be fitted into this backpack. And it's made from this fantastic durable material. The reason why is because when you're out there in this environment, you do see there's a lot of rocks, there's a lot of ice. You have the ice axe that interferes on this material, and that is why we have 2 different ice axe holders here, and we're using this super durable material. So let's start with the backpack. All of the products that you're not wearing while doing this activity should fit in the backpack. So this is a roll-top construction. A roll-top means you only have one way to enter the backpack, right? And the purpose of having a roll top is that you can also maximize how much stuff you want to put in. If you have a zippered backpack, you only have one size, that's it. Here you can actually still wear it on your back without So roll top, but more importantly, so same kind of construction you have on our snow backpacks, right? So you have this opening in the back. The purpose is, if you're out there on the mountain and you're hanging on a very edgy place on the mountain and you can't take off the backpack, you can just and here you go. So you can have the backpack like this. This part is of course closed, like that. And you can open the backpack while still not moving your feet. And then you can enter it. So having this backpack opening is very essential while being out on the mountain. And then, what else do you have on this one? You have a very lightweight and vest-likeable shoulder strap construction. So you can see the material has this see-through effect, and that gives you a very more breathable comfort. And the purpose is, of course, for all of you guys out there that have tried wearing a backpack while being super active, this part becomes super warm, and the backpack. The back. And then imagine if you have a base layer, you have insulation, and then you have a shell. So it's a lot of work. But if you have this material, you actually give the material a chance to breathe slightly more, which is crucial. Apart from that, you have these 2 small pockets here. Perfect for have water bottles, bars, or whatever you want to. And then I show you it's a roll-top construction. And here you can have some essentials. If you want to have like a transceiver, stuff like that, also very important. And then you have the compression loops on the sides, and then you have this unique construction for your ice axe. And this is actually magnetic, very, very unusual because it's very expensive. The purpose is that they should be very light to open up, like this, and then they just attach to each other. And then you have the ice axe here, so if you want 2 or depends how many you want, but a very unique backpack. So that's the backpack. Then we have the first apparel, right? So this is the base layer. So what you can see here is this one works best if you have this one as the base layer, and then you have this beauty as the mid layer. So the way that limb center is designed is that if you wear all of these products jointly together, that creates the perfect feeling, right? So here it's all about keeping you warm but breathable. In the second middle layer, this is all about sucking up the moisture, right? You don't want to get sweaty. And then you might wonder, why do you have the pockets like this? Well, if you add zippers, you add weight, and you add something that might break. So having this very fast pocket that is super easy access for whatever you need is the way we believe is most crucial. And then it depends on where you are starting. So when you're starting, if you want to climb the mountain, like Chamonix, you start in the forest. So in the forest, it's way warmer. So there in the forest, you only need, your starting point is the pants. You have the base layer, you might have the mid layer. But then the further up you come, after the forest, you come to the glacier, right? And when you come to the glacier, then most likely you're gonna need something warmer. And now we come to the first insulation. Like I mentioned over there, all of the insulation we're using is down, goose down, because we believe that that is the most premium. If you talk about weight to warm radio, goose is the best. Duck is also good, but goose is really even better. All the material we're using when it comes to the down is traceable. So you can see from what farm we're purchasing it. We're working with a company called Allies Feathers. All of the down is traceable, and it's a byproduct from the food industry. So the purpose of this installation is, once again, very light, but still keep you warm. But when you come up to this kind of altitude, the glacier level, you're actually starting to move quite fast when you're building up your body temperature. So you don't want the buckles to be everywhere on this jacket. It's fine that you don't have it down here, because now you're putting on the harness. Because if you walk on a glacier, there's cracks in the glacier, you need to have a harness to your buddies or whoever, so if something happens, they should be able to pull you up. So no buckles down here, because that's in the way of the harness. Then it can become more and more windy on the glaciers. So then we have shell layer here. So here you can see it's very, very trimmed down in features. The more features, the more weight. So you only have these two pockets here. You have reinforcements over the shoulders. That's needed for your backpack and also for snow and ice that might fall, right? What I love with this one, it actually comes from the inside. So we are using something called a Zenit backer. Vortex Zenit, that's the backer, what you can see, what you can feel here. On the outside, it's just a normal fabric. Then you have the Gore membrane that is laminated together, but then you have the Zenit backer. For you out there that have not tried Zenit, please try it, because it gives you a very soft feeling, almost like a pillow. It's not a pillow, but it's way more comfortable to wear, especially while you're moving fast. You don't want pro shell on the backer, because that becomes a little bit, something is, not so comfortable. That is why in the majority of the cases, when you're going uphill on your split board or your skis or climbing, you do not wear the shell jacket unless it's a very bad environment. You wear it when you go down, right? But in this case, you could actually wear it when going uphill, because the lightweight of the jacket, the breathability, and also the material here on the back. So it's a beautiful piece. Of course, the hood is helmet compatible, only for a climbing helmet, not for a ski helmet. You have a built-in cap here if the sun hits you in your eyes, and also very, very packable. Lastly, when you have reached the summit, and when you're up here on the higher part, you're sitting down, you're enjoying the view, then you're starting to maybe freeze up. Well, we got you covered. So here you have the limb Zenit down. And this is a beautiful piece. Once again, also working with the same kind of down, comes from goose. So very lightweight. I think it's always very funny to look at a jacket from the inside out instead from the outside in. Because then you can see all of the details. This is such beautiful made. Because if you, of course, a jacket should be nice looking from the outside, but we also think about the inside. Because the better we have produced and designed the jacket on the inside, where we have a lot of interference from other material, the longer it's going to last. So that is why I think it's important to show you the construction of the jacket. So this is a traditional ballet jacket, also very lightweight with the goose feathers, water repellent, and it has one more unique feature. So you have this adjustment up here. So you can actually, like you see here on the image, have the jacket on top of you. It's also helmet compatible. And if you expand the collar, it becomes slightly wider. Also beautiful jacket. And you have two big inner pockets. And this little body is the compression bag. So you can see it looks like a backpack, but it's not. It's a compression bag. So you can remove it if you don't want to have it on. It's perfect for when you store it in your backpack. You put the entire jacket. There you go. So this one can be or you can just have it in the backpack without taking too much space. Yes, there are more stuff. There are so many products in this concept that it's easy to forget. Come with me here. Everything starts with a pair of boxers. No, like I mentioned, it might sound funny, but these parts of your body you also get very, very well. So here it's all about having a super technical material, similar to what you're using in the base layer. So you can see it's the same material. It's all about keeping you warm, but giving you that extra breathability. So we have the boxers, we have the panties, we have a bra for the ladies, and this is also one of my favorite pieces, a balaclava. I love wearing a balaclava, especially when it's cold outside, to protect your cheeks, your nose, your lips. Also super lightweight, and we're using the Polartec Delta fabric, which is once again, like this entire concept, is all about weight versus performance. So extremely light. That's it. Like I said, there are so many products. I forgot the pants. So when doing this kind of activity, it's all about movement in your legs. What you want is a pair of pants that doesn't interfere with the movement of your knees, your thighs, your waist, your feet, the boots, everything. So here we have the limb-sided pants. The unique feature with this is, let's put it like this. So the unique feature with this, if we start from the bottom, we turn around, reinforcements, right? This is not something unusual. A lot of brands have this. What is very important to know is how durable it is. So we're using a material that gives you much more breathability for these kinds of very extreme surfaces that interferes with your boots, with your crampons, with ice, with rock, and it goes quite far up. In some pants it's only go here, but we're trying to push the limits all the way up. Inside of the pants you have a snow gaiter, of course, and if you wear these soft shell pants for ski mountaineering, you can actually attach them over ski boots, and when you put them in walking mode, you just open them up so that it become wider. If you go further up here, you have this little pocket here. Inside, if you want to, you have your transceiver attaching to this one. You have another pocket on this side, but the transceiver goes in the right pocket. You have integrated Velcro for your belt. The reason why is that this doesn't interfere with the harness. If you would have a normal belt and you would wear your own belt, there's a high risk that will interfere with your harness. The kind of material we're using here is soft shell. Soft shell is really good for performance while being super active, and it also gives you another kind of stretchability. So the movement when running uphill, like this pose is designed for, it's all about what we thought about when we designed this kind of pair of pants.